Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new week and welcome to a brand new edition of what we call the Shifting the Culture podcast, where we talk about the different artists and events that have impacted this culture we know and love as hip hop, as well as the ones that continue to do so to this very day. I am your host, the vegan you believe in, Conscious Kurt, aka the Professor in the flesh, as always.
And this is King Khan, aka the Evil Genius, live and direct once again.
How's it going, man?
Oh man, everything's good, man. Just chilling. Just watching some of that. I was watching that Griselda last night. It's been an interesting show to say the least. So, been watching that, but watching some of these basketball games too. I saw my Knicks body the Heat last night, so I was pretty thrilled about that. But other than that, I'm just chilling, man. How about you?
Same thing, bro. I heard about the Griselda series. I've been actually looking forward to watching it for months, but I haven't really had the time to watch it this weekend. But I'm gonna watch it today. Yeah, I've been really looking forward to seeing this for a long time. I know that story very well from watching Cocaine Cowboys, and yeah, that Griselda Blanco lady was not to be fucked with. Not to be fucked with.
Yeah, she's definitely a boss in her own right. So she did a lot of fucked up things, So it gets into that definitely into the series, but yeah, definitely something good to watch. If you're into that cartel and all that drug kind of series and whatnot. So still pretty dope and something to watch.
Yeah, and it's a turn for Sofia Vergara also because she's never really done anything like this dramatic and like on this level
Yeah.
where she's like playing somebody so notorious. So from what I've seen, that's like a big transition for her. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how she like pulls off this role because I've seen her like in Modern Family, I've seen her in other projects, but to see her in something like this is a fucking game changer.
Yeah, she definitely did her thing, and she's still looking good. I think she's what, like 40 or 50 right now, but
Early 50s, yeah, early
yeah, she still
50s.
looks mad good, for 50-year-old, definitely.
Yeah, so I'll be watching that show probably sometime today. But yeah, this fucking world is crazy. This month of January has been nuts with all the fucking controversy, all the fucking news. This has been one of the weirdest, like out of control Januaries I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's been
And the year's only beginning.
yeah, the year just started. And it's been kind of off to a wild start. So yeah, we're only in January, so I'm quite interested in seeing how it's gonna pan out for the rest of the year.
Yeah, and one of those stories coming out this week was the whole Vince McMahon thing where he's like getting accused of sex trafficking. Like taking one of the women from the office and like passing around to different executives like that dude John Laurinaitis being one example, and even putting her off apparently to Brock Lesnar to get him to resign. Yeah, this whole thing is just a mess, and he actually officially resigned from TKO slash WWE on Friday, and he can't come back this time. Like that whole lawsuit situation happened with him about a year and a half ago that forced him to step down, but he eventually came back and found his way to weasel himself back in. But now with the whole TKO merger and all that, he can't. Like it's a wrap for him. Like he is done with WWE for good. He's pretty much unemployed now.
It's about time, It's all those mad news stories coming out about what's going on. So I'm surprised it just took this long, but it's finally done for good, yo.
Yeah, and him doing all those things, enough accusations about him have come out over the years, and enough things I've seen him do in skits on TV with the women over the years. I've seen enough of this shit where I'm like, yo, he definitely did a lot of that shit. You can't deny it. You can't turn a blind eye to it. You can still like wrestling. You can still like WWE, but Vince McMahon deserves to be held accountable for that shit.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he should have been. I would say he should have been penalized a long time ago for some of the shit that he's been doing over the years, especially that skit that he did with John Cena. That was mad cringe a long time ago. So
Trust me, that's
yeah,
trust me,
definitely.
that's trust me. There's way worse ones than that. That's nothing. That's nothing compared to some of the other ones I've seen. Jack shit.
Yeah, I get it. So yeah, definitely, it was definitely due for him to go. Definitely his time.
Yeah, time to move on, but we're on to bigger and better things. It's a new week in hip hop. It's a new week in the culture, and I'm just happy to be here talking to you about it.
Yes, sir. So let's get into it. Let's see what we got going on this week.
And another crazy ass news coming out in this crazy ass month of January. A new beef is sparked up with Nicki Minaj, and her new target is one Megan the Stallion. As Megan the Stallion dropped a video for her new track Hiss this past Friday, And she had a line in the song where she makes a reference to these hoes ain't mad at Megan, they're mad at Megan's Law. And that reference was to, I guess, Nicki Minaj's husband, who's a registered sex offender. So everyone's like assuming that that's what it was about, which it probably more than likely was. And Nicki Minaj, to no surprise, was not too happy about this. And in a post, she ended up calling her Bigfoot. And then she went on to put up a tweet that was literally a mile long, and she starts like listing down all of her accolades, all the things she accomplished, and like how like her tour for Pink Friday 2 is like adding extra dates because it's selling so well. And she's listing down all these accolades, and at the bottom of it, she lists down all of Megan Thee Stallion's failures, all of Megan Thee Stallion's flops, and the fact that she has ghostwriters and she still sucks, and tearing Megan Thee Stallion a new asshole, just a fucking character assassination if I had ever seen one. And as long as that fucking tweet was, it did not stop there. As ever since then, she's been putting up tweet after tweet after tweet, how they need to keep posting that party made about her a couple weeks ago, and how she's a liar, and how she lied on her mother, and how like I didn't say it, Party said it on the song, and yeah, like also referencing to like how her lying about the whole Tory Lane situation. And then she said in this other live stream, bullet fragment foot bitch, you bringing up 30-year-old T from when this man was a 15-year-old child, you bringing up 30-year-old T because no man will ever fucking love you, and lying on your dead mother.
Yeah, this whole shit is getting wild and out of hand, man. Like, definitely sounds like Megan struck a chord and struck a nerve with Nicki Minaj. That's what it comes off as.
Yeah, this is a meltdown if I've ever seen one. And she also went on to tweet Megan's Law, for a free beat, you could hit Megan Raw.
That was funny, yo. I ain't gonna lie. That was
Oh,
definitely
shit.
funny. That was definitely clever and funny. I'll give Nicki that.
Yeah, and then she went on to accuse Megan Thee Stallion of calling Cardi B a dirty Mexican.
Wow. So there's a lot going on. There's many, like, I don't know. Looks like they were going back and forth like every day, this weekend. They were just, they were just, well, at least they weren't going back and forth. It sounded like Nicki was just going in on Megan because of that song that came out. And I've must have said this before, but like Nicki is too big for this. Like she's, an accomplished artist, and why is she going back and forth with Megan Thee Stallion? Like I don't know. I don't get. I know they had their falling out, but like just keep it moving. You have a successful album. You're about to go on tour. Like why you like going backwards and arguing, going back and forth with Megan Thee Stallion? So what? She dissed you. That's what they're gonna go at. They're gonna come. That's the first thing that people are gonna run to when they're getting in an argument with Nicki Minaj. You're gonna talk stuff about her husband and her. So what I'm saying? She just fell for the bait, and she looks like she's self-destructing in front of our eyes. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, this just feels like a meltdown. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, some of it's funny. And she even put up a post teasing the fact that she's gonna be dropping the diss to Megan Thee Stallion like later today at 3 o'clock. But my thing is that if you're gonna get back at them, just get back at her on a song. Don't waste your time tweeting all this and posting all this and going on live streams. Like if you really want to clap back at them on a record and then just leave it at that.
Yeah, this is just a weird age. Like back in the day when there was beefs, like people would just make a song or a freestyle about them and put it out or say something, within the track. But nowadays, like they'll go on social media and do a live and make it last for like 3-4 days. Like I'm kind of like over it, man. I don't want to see these girls fighting. I feel like all the girls are like going at it. Like Lotto and Ice Spice are going at it too now. They had songs coming out against each other and throwing jabs at each other. Like I don't know, the females, like there's no unity between them. Like it's kind of sad. Like they can't get along. I thought they would be much better than that, much bigger than that. That they would at least try to come together and put on for the females. But it looks like that they can't even get along. They're jealous of each other and whatnot.
Yeah, just a toxic era when it comes to this shit. We've talked about it before, like the new era of like female rappers now, while they are very successful and all that good stuff, and they're very like financially set, like just some of their personalities and just some of the way they interact with each other is just not a good look. And it kind of turns you off from them in a way too.
Yeah, it's like they're arguing about who has the nicer BBL, like who has the nicer made up body. Like all these women are mad fake, like all these surgeries and all these, things that they do to them bodies to make themselves look good. And then like they're arguing with each other, like who looks better, who has a better surgeon, like who has a better cosmetic surgeon. Like I don't know, man. It just I don't know why we're entertaining this kind of garbage. Like, let's stick to the music, man. That's what it's about. I don't want to hear them bicker and go back and forth online about who did what or who slept with who, and like it doesn't even matter, man. Just make some good music, man. That's all I really care about.
I will say I think Nicki's probably gonna eat her alive on this disc whenever it does come out. If the one from Party is like any indication of that or any like sign of what's to come, yo, I would not want to be Megan the Stallion right now. Yeah, because that track was a character assassination if I had ever heard one. Because it kind of, in a way, maybe turned me against Megan the same way like Ether turned me against Jay-Z. So, yeah, like shit like that, like those kind of songs that are character assassinations, those are the ones that hit the hardest. And from like other parts of his, where Megan was talking about how like, oh, I didn't want to come back for him, or like, oh, he's just mad he can't hit it anymore. It's like, yo, that's a basic diss. That's not like something that's gonna really hit somebody hard and like really hurt their feelings and make them cry and shit like that. So, but I will say, even with that stuff aside, the video was dope. The visuals, the whole presentation of it, that shit is well done. That's one thing I'll give props to Megan the Stallion for, is that, her look, and also, although I've probably never seen her live, I can see her putting on a good show.
Yeah, she definitely looks like she's a good artist and has a good team around her. Because yeah, her videos have been on point, and I like the concept around like Cobra and his like the last few singles that she's dropped. But as far as like, I don't know, man, for her to come at Nicki, you already know how Nicki is. She's definitely gonna come back, and the way that she comes back, she's gonna make a song about it, and she normally makes like a catchy song where people are kind of like mocking you and making fun of you within the song. So interesting to hear this Bigfoot. She kind of like dropped like a little snippet of it, which is pretty entertaining to say the least. But yeah, we'll see what happens when you get the full track and then see if Meg wants to go back and forth with her. But I don't know. I'm kind of getting tired of all these females this year arguing with each other, man. We had Stefflon Don and Jada Kingdon. We had Ice Spice and Lotto, and now we got Meg and Megan Cardi against Nicki. Like this, just a whole mess, man. Like these females just need to have some unity, man, and come together.
Yeah, but that's easier said than done. They just gotta fucking get over themselves. I think that's the biggest thing. A lot of them just need to get over themselves.
Yeah, just about equal. Like, they need to a take a page out of Doja Cat. I'm not saying they should shave their head bald or make themselves or shave off their eyebrows or do some wild shit like that. But like, I like what Doja Cat like kind of meant by doing that. She's like making it more about her music and not about all the extra shit and about the fame and how she looks and whatnot. She's strictly keeping it just to the music. And look at what the album that she just dropped last year. The album was a successful album. It did numbers. She had a lot of good singles, and people, it was critically acclaimed, and people like praised that for being a good album. So maybe they just need to go back to, take a page out of Doja Cat's book and kind of like emulate what she's doing.
Yeah, focus on the music. Focus on making the best product you can. All that other extra shit, all that other beef and shit, industry toxic bullshit, that shit is for the birds.
Yeah, just keep it to the music, man. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
So
all I
let's
say.
keep it to the music. So it's shifting gears from this toxic bullshit in the female hip hop scene. Let's get into some more positive news as the lineup for the Lovers and Friends Festival was just put out this past week, and it's going to be taking place on Saturday, May 4th in Las Vegas. And some of the acts on the show do include Janet Jackson, Lil Wayne, Usher, Snoop Dogg, Nas, Alicia Keys, Ludacris, Nelly, TLC, Ja Rule and Ashanti, Akon, Neo, T Pain, the fucking Backstreet Boys, Gwen Stefani, Nelly Furtado, Sierra, Timberland, Brandy and Monica, Eve, Craig David, Sean motherfucking Paul, Robin Thicke, Method Man and Redman. What the fuck? Method Man and Redman 2, Fat Joe, Jeezy, T.I., Pretty Ricky, Maya, JoJo, Mario, Too Fucking Short, Twista, who we're going to talk about later, Total, 702, Black, John B. 112, Lupe Fiasco, Genuine, Mace. I could be here all day talking about who's going to be at this damn festival, but holy shit.
Yeah, definitely a stacked lineup, man. Like I don't know how all these people are gonna perform because it doesn't look like it's like a multi-day event. It's all like a 1 day event. So it, yes, it does sound like a great idea, and it sounds like it's definitely a dope lineup, and a lot of people from like the '90s, 2000, those kind of era, like the golden era of music, I would say, are gonna be there, and it's like pretty much everybody is gonna be on that lineup for the most part. It's just that it's gonna be tough, man. Like I know they're probably gonna have like multiple stages, but to be able to like to see all your favorite artists is gonna be really tough. I don't know if you've been to like a big festival like this, but like for them to have all these acts in 1 day, like you're definitely not gonna be able to see everybody that you want to, which that's the only bad thing about it. I wish it was like maybe like a 2 or 3 day event, like a weekend event, rather than just like a 1 day thing, because it's gonna be tough. And then on top of that, like the artist may only perform like maybe like a couple songs, maybe like a quick 15-minute set. I don't think they'll get like more, into their bag of tracks.
Yeah, this kind of feels like more like that hip hop 50-year anniversary show we watched in August that took place in the Bronx.
Yeah, that shit was dope.
Yeah, it was dope, but it was like a bunch of artists who had like very short sets. Like they didn't have like a long extended set like they would have had if like they had their own show. So yeah, this is kind of what that reminds me of, but only a lot more fucking people. A lot more fucking people than that. Yeah, I don't know how the fuck they're gonna fit all these artists into one fucking day, but it does seem like a show worth going to. I'll say that much. Even if you don't get to see everybody you want, going to that show at least to experience that shit is fucking a memory you'll never forget.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, bring back mad nostalgia just being there with all those artists, performing, some of your childhood songs that you grew up to and and love. So yeah, definitely it'll be a dope experience and it'll be a good time. But like I said, I just wish that it was like a 2 day event so that way just a lot going on. You're gonna be exhausted at the end of that show, just from one stage to the other, and there's a lot of people, so just a lot going on. So I just hope people who get to go will be able to enjoy it. But this is like the third or fourth year in a row that they've put this Lovers and Friends concert on. So I'm pretty sure that they worked out some of the kinks. So hopefully they could put on a great show for people that can make it out there. And if not, hopefully they can at least maybe at least stream it like some of the other festivals, maybe so that way people who can't make it there can at least watch it online. I think that would be dope as well.
Oh yeah, that would be perfect. I don't know if I'm gonna make it there or not, but if I'd be more than down to watch it like that, it'd be the next best thing. But just being there, being at a music festival with like-minded people who like enjoy the same type of music you do and just vibing with them. And also, yeah, listening to those nostalgia acts from back in the day and listening to some of their newer stuff they have out now. Yo, I can't think of a better way to spend a Saturday, especially one out in Vegas. But as far as that stamina goes, I think a lot of people are gonna have a remedy for that, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in Vegas, so I'm sure that they'll be able to make it through the show. But yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely gets your rest, and yeah, it'll be definitely a long weekend to say the least.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't turn out like Woodstock 99, it's all good.
Yeah, this should be all right. Should be a good show and a good time.
Yeah, I got to get back to Vegas. I haven't been back to Vegas since I moved.
Yeah, I might want to go visit for a weekend or so, a couple days. Spend a minute, but definitely not in the summertime.
Nah, the best time to visit Vegas is like between the months of March, April, and May, and also like September, October time. Those are the good months to go visit.
Yeah, because that weather could be really tricky.
Yeah, June, July, August, it's 100 degrees every day for 3 months straight.
Yeah, it's not a good look at all.
No, it is not. But what is a good look is Andre 3000 going on tour for the Blue Red Sun album. And he's going to be doing a bunch of dates from the end of this month to the beginning of March. And some of those dates include cities such as Brooklyn, Chicago, San Francisco, right here in the ATL at the end of February, beginning of March, and Los Angeles. And he's going to be playing mainly in like jazz clubs, churches and parks, places like that. So yeah, this seems like a cool vibe. It definitely seems like a show that would be worth checking out. It wouldn't be like a traditional hip hop concert, obviously, but just to see that kind of vibe and see him in that kind of element would definitely be worth the price. So I think I'm gonna check out one of those Atlanta dates when he comes down here.
Yeah, that'll be dope. I don't know if the tickets sold out already. I'm sure they're gonna sell out pretty quickly.
He has four dates here in Atlanta though. 4 dates.
Yeah, yeah, I just noticed that too. But yeah, that would be dope if we can go check him out and experience him live and see what his flute is about and what this album is about. So it'll be a decent experience. But I wouldn't go there expecting him to start rapping, spitting rhymes from his Outkast days. definitely wouldn't go there thinking that because you definitely disappointed. I do think though, I do think getting a vibe from him that he's maybe trying to gear back up and try to get back into music. So maybe this inspires him and gets, they used to being on the road again, and maybe this inspires him to maybe put out some other music, maybe some more raps. We'll see.
Yeah, anything's possible, but at least he's going on tour, and it seems like a cool vibe because of seeing the different venues he's going to be playing at. Like, it's not a traditional tour where like they're going to like basketball
Arenas and
arenas or
shit.
stadiums or anything along those lines. So yeah, like it seems like a very intimate vibe where he's going to be playing at for the venues.
Yeah, it's gonna be like little jazz clubs and little spots where only fits like a certain amount, a small number of people, I'm sure, and I'm sure it's gonna be up close and personal. And it's gonna be like right there, kind of like going to like the improv or like a comedy show. I kind of since that's the kind of vibe it's gonna be, but it'll be dope to see a legend in himself, Andre 3000 live and in the flesh. So that'll be dope experience.
Yeah, be a good date idea too.
Yeah, that'll be a good idea. So yeah, if you can make it, definitely go try to check it out. If it comes to your city.
Did you ever listen to the full album?
I listened to a couple of, well, I listened to a few minutes while I was cleaning my house and shit, but that's about it. I didn't. It's not something I'm gonna go back to and listen to. Just wanted to check it out to see what the hype was about, but I'm not gonna. It's not something that's not my cup of tea. I don't listen to jazz like that.
I wonder if you've seen Bay would call it target music or shopping music.
Maybe elevator music, yeah, but and maybe yeah, maybe Target could be Target music also.
Yeah, but I guess since Andre 3000 is such a legend, he's not going to refer to him as that.
Nah, he won't, because he's not calling it hip hop. He's it's something else.
Yeah, it is what it is. But I do like what Snoop Dogg said recently in his appearance on All the Smoke about how him and 50 Cent are giving back to a lot of rappers who are falling on hard times, like rappers from back in the day. If they see that they're struggling, if they see that they need like a helping hand, they're willing to do it for them and they have no problem with it at all. They realize that considering that they made it, considering that they're well off right now, it's kind of a responsibility for them to give back to the ones who paved the way for them to have the platforms they have right now. So yeah, I really fucks with that heavy. I respect the fact that the two of them are like setting an example for like the other rappers to do the same thing. Snoop Dogg also mentioned that for younger rappers, he knows that they don't have to do something like this. But if they have the money and if they see like a rapper who paved the way for them, like falling on hard times, who's really having a hard time paying their bills, to give it back to them and like just say like, yo, thank you for your contributions. Here's a little something in return. Shout out to Snoop Dogg and 50 Cent for doing this kind of thing. It definitely is a good look for the culture and a good look for future generations to come.
No, that's really dope, man. It's dope to see like people who've been successful and reached like the highest peaks in the game and giving back to some of the people who didn't get the compensation that they deserved, based on the contributions that they made to the game. So it's not nice that 50 Cent, Snoop, and also Nas and others are giving back to some of these artists in need. So just dope to see, and I like that the example that they're setting for the new generation. So when it's their term, like the Drakes and the 21 Savages and all these other futures and all these other artists that are coming up, maybe when it's their turn, when they get older, they can give back to some of these other artists. So it's just a dope example to set for the next generation and also to give back to the people that came before us. So shouts out to them.
Yeah, this is a way of setting a good example for hip hop and a good example of like getting along and helping each other out, as opposed to the women stuff we were talking about earlier. This is a good example of making hip hop look good and giving hip hop that kind of credibility.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, definitely a good look all around.
Yeah, especially for those who like paved the way for the Snoop Doggs, the 50s, the Biggies, the Nas's, for those dudes in the 80s who like didn't have that kind of same success and like didn't make that same kind of money. Yeah, it's a good look to help those dudes out and like make sure they're all right, because without them, we would have not had the hip hop on the level that it was at in the 90s and beyond, and we would not even be doing this podcast right now. So anyway, those dudes can be helped out and compensated, I'm all for it.
Yeah, for real. So I mess with that, So shouts out to them.
Yeah, also Snoop said him and Dre are working on an album together and it's almost finished.
Don't hold your breath. That's it's coming out the same day as the new Outkast album. So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, I mean, whatever he said, it. I mean, it could come out. Some stranger things have happened already in the last month, so anything's possible. Anything is possible.
I don't know, man. Man, I don't believe anything with Dr. Dre these days because Detox was supposed to come out what like 20 years ago. That shit never came out. I saw a picture of him and Nas in the studio, and he was playing a new Nas song. That shit never came out. So, and then now Snoop is saying that him and Dre, I'm sure they have songs recorded, but I don't expect them shits to come out ever. She's probably gonna hold them on his hard drive and hold them hostage, and maybe they might come out like 10, 20 years later or something like that. But I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it. Let's put it that way.
Fair enough. I get that. I guess like when somebody lets you down so many times, you don't really trust them until they give you a reason to
I'm
trust
not.
them again.
I'm not falling for that bait, yo. I'm good. I'm not getting excited. I'm not getting amped up and getting my hopes up that a Dr. Dre and Snoop album or a project is gonna come out. No, I'm not gonna do that to myself, and you shouldn't do that to yourself either.
I guess kind of similar to the Lauryn Hill situation, like not, paying money to go see her because you know you're gonna get let down.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's dope. Yeah, if he comes out, I'll be all for it. But I believe it when I see some artwork and I see a track listing and I see some like videos or promos for it, then I'll believe it. But until then, I'm not gonna go off of what people are saying in interviews to get their views up. I'm sorry. I'm straight.
I get it. I understand. Also in the works is Ja Rule's new album, which he actually talked about a couple days ago when he said that he apologized to everyone for having them wait 10 years for another project from his and that it's going to be worth the wait.
We'll see. We'll see, man. I'm not really excited for a new Ja Rule album. Are you? You looking forward to a new Ja Rule album?
If he has some good collabs on the album and maybe like a couple good singles or two, then who knows? But I'm not going to be like, waiting and anticipating for it, though. I will not be.
Yeah, I'll check it out if he drops it. We'll see. But it's been 10 years. It's hard to recapture that same magic between 10 years and dropping the album and now. And even when he was out 10 years ago, it wasn't hitting like it was hitting like when he was in his heyday, Murder Inc. Ashanti days. It wasn't
Yeah.
really on that level. So I don't know. We'll see. Could prove us wrong.
Yeah, but 2001, 2002, Ja Rule was on fire. That dude was on every track. That dude was in every fucking video. The videos were like number one on 106 in Park, like every single day. Yeah, that dude was everywhere during that period. He wasn't my favorite rapper per se, but I have to give the dude credit. He went on a great run during that time until 50 squashed it.
Yeah, he's definitely having a legendary run at that time. Yeah, no, there was not many artists that were as big as him at that time. So yeah, definitely left a mark. Just those those like 3 4 years on his run. That Murder Inc. one was legendary for real.
So he had two songs with J Lo, bro. Yeah, if you're doing songs with J Lo, you're good.
So shouts out to Ja Rule.
Yes, but let's get into some of our anniversaries real fast. As this past week marked the anniversary of the launch of a channel we know as BET, which officially launched on January 25th, 1980. And it was founded by Robert and Sheila Johnson. And in the first few years of BET, it kind of established itself as kind of like a network for more black entertainment, mainly for like R&B videos and things along those lines. And also, but then eventually they would add shows such as their BET Nightly News and then Teen Summit. And then later on, they would add a show that we talked about several weeks ago on this podcast known as Rap City that would go on for 20 years, which would be one of their flagship shows. And then they actually also had this show called Video Soul that I remember we used to watch, hosted by Donnie Simpson. We used to watch that show a lot back in the day. And then obviously probably their biggest show, the biggest show they probably were mainly known for was 106 in Park, which started in 2000 and ran for almost 15 years. And yeah, BET was definitely a big part of our childhoods. It's a channel we watch a lot, a channel that really exposed us to a lot of the artists that we grew to love and appreciate today. And yeah, unfortunately, it's not the same anymore. It's definitely taken a turn over the last, I would say, 18 years or so. But in those years that it was dope, there was nothing like BET. Nothing like it.
Yeah, BET was definitely for the culture, and yeah, it sucks what it's turned into. Them also and MTV, they don't even play music videos anymore. That's how bad it is. But nonetheless, though, during growing up and during my childhood and teenage years, definitely was a channel that I was watching every single day to watch new videos, interviews, and to see what was going on, in hip hop. So it's sad that what it's turned into, but I'm glad I had some of the childhood memories of watching BET and what it's done for the culture. So shouts out to everybody that was involved in and made that dream possible. Hopefully we can get it back in ownership back in the right hands, and we can bring back some of that stuff that the culture's been missing, man, especially like Rap City and some of those other shows that we know and love. So hopefully they can bring some of that magic back.
Yeah, their best years were in the 90s because I remember doing my research for the show that in 1991 they became the first black-owned network to enter the New York Stock Exchange. That's fucking ridiculous, man. The first black-owned network, and it was BET that actually accomplished that. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just such a different vibe with BET back then. I don't really remember that late 80s, early 90s period of BET, but I do remember it from, I would say, about 1995 up. And yeah, it was an alternative to MTV. Although I liked MTV, MTV was dope in its own way. I just liked the vibe that I got from BET more. It was like more for the culture, and it gave you something that MTV did not give you.
Right. Yeah, you got MTV for the commercial stuff, and then you had BET for like the more up and coming artists, underground artists, and people like that you don't really hear on the radio like that. So it was dope that you had a balance between the two.
Yeah, and I like that they also had like the BET Nightly News, and they had like that interview show. I think that show where like R. Kelly got interviewed, where he was talking about the whole allegations initially, like when he first broke out,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
they also had Teen Summit. I know you remember Teen Summit very well. Yeah, Teen Summit was a
yeah.
big
Teen Summit,
deal. Comic
Comic
View.
View
There was a
was
show
on
called
there.
Planet Groove. I remember we used to watch a lot. Also, Hits from the Street.
Oh yeah, yeah. He was mad funny, yo. I remember he had a there was one time he was doing like a making fun of a college fraternity, and he was making fun of a college fraternity and was making fun of their chants and shit. Like, it was one episode. That shit was hilarious, man. But he was funny, He was running into the middle of the street, jumping on cars and shit, and just interviewing people. And yeah, he was a funny host, man. I missed that show. That was a good show.
Yeah, he was even in How High. He had a couple scenes in How High.
Oh yeah, he was the guy that he wasn't talking, right,
Yeah, he
in the
was
movie, right?
he was I Need Money.
Silent.
Yeah, he was I Need Money.
Yeah,
And then right at the end of the movie when the
yeah.
fucking Dean rips his jacket, that's when he finally talks.
Nah, he was dope, man. I wonder what he's up to these days, but that was definitely a good show.
Yeah, it was just such a dope channel. Like I remember those heydays of BT from like the 90s to the early 2000s. Yeah, it was just so fire. But in the 2000s, that's when it really started to switch up because that's when they got sold to Viacom. But when they got sold to Viacom, Robert and Sheila Johnson became the first black billionaires here in America.
Yeah, that's definitely a big accomplishment in itself. So I don't blame him. If they had the opportunity to leave a legacy and something for their family history, then yeah, definitely got to take the opportunity while it presented themselves. It sucks, but that's not in the right hands. But at least they accomplished something that that's will stand the test of time.
Yeah, and it is still around today, although it's a fucking shell of itself. It is still around today. Tyler Perry, I feel like, has been trying to bring some relevance back to it with some of his shows. Some people seem to like them a lot and rave about them. And some of their biopics have been good in recent years, like the New Edition biopic being one example. So even though like I don't like it anywhere near as much anymore as I used to, there still is some good that comes from it every now and then. So I will give it that much.
Yeah, I think Tyler Perry was trying to buy it like a year or so ago, but it didn't go through. And I think he said in an interview that like he doesn't have any interest of buying it again. So I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I don't see that channel getting back to anywhere near how it used to be. Maybe there's another channel that comes out, but there was like Revolt that came out that was trying to do something. But now with the whole Diddy allegations, I don't know what's gonna happen after that.
I will say that BET, her channel, at least they play music videos in the morning. So I watch that every now and then. I watch that channel.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't have those channels, and like some of the programming on those like kind of like old programming from like years ago. It's not like updated with like newer songs and stuff. So
Nah, BET, her now, they play a lot of newer shit. Yeah, they play a lot of new shit.
okay, well I remember when I had that channel, there was like they used to replay like the same like shows with the same videos. So yeah, I'm glad that they updated at least.
Yeah, it's like early in the morning though. It's like, like from 4 in the morning to like 10 in the morning. Yeah, they'll play music videos.
Yeah, but nobody's really watching at that time though. But whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah, so yeah, I'll check that out every now and then. Yeah, I noticed definitely with BET, like from the 2005 period on, that's when it started to change for the worse. Because that's when that Robert Johnson dude actually stepped down as CEO. He stayed on even after the sale for a few more years as CEO, but then in '05 he stepped down. And then from that point, I remember like that year, that's when Big Tigger left Rap City, and also AJ and Free left 106 in Park. So yeah, from 2005 on, it was just a downward spiral, and then it just gradually got worse.
Yeah, for real. So time to move on, man.
Yes, it's time to move on. So let's move on to our next anniversary. As this past week marked the 24-year anniversary of the L.O.X's second album, We Are the Streets. And I have to say, it was a huge, huge night and day improvement from their first album, Money, Power, Respect. And you could definitely tell they fit in a lot more with the Ruff Ryders crew than they did with the Bad Boy crew. Holy shit.
Yeah, this album was right after they left Bad Boy and whatnot, and it was a pretty bad breakup between the two parties. So, and they definitely get into that in this album. They have a bunch of skits, and the whole like theme of the album is kind of like taking jabs at Bad Boy and that whole shiny suit era and whatnot, that which wasn't their style. But yeah, you are right. The Rough Rider style definitely matches their vibe a lot better than the Bad Boy style that they had on their first album. So I'm glad they made that jump, and we got this classic album. There's a lot of joints on here, a lot of bangers that still slap to this day.
And one of those bangers was the official diss they made to Diddy and Bad Boy called We Are the Streets, the title track of the album. And yo, they fucking let Diddy have it. No, we ain't fucking with them no more, cause we rough riding. Getting out your back now. L.O.X is back now. Show a little love now. Pump it in the club now. Yo, they let Diddy have it. They were like, I don't care how many checks you wrote. I just want to see how you gon' dance when your neck get broke. First one talking that family shit, get a lot of dough, but never give the family shit. That line hits a lot harder now.
Yeah, they said a lot of truth, and they let it all out on this album. And then also remember the Raping You record skit where they were talking about an
We'll
artist.
be raping you, raping you, raping you.
Yeah, so they were kind of making fun of Jada's kids was trying to sign like J Hood in the skit, and then he was talking about just sign, just sign, don't even look at the contract, just sign the paperwork. We got everything. We're gonna rape your publishing. We're gonna rape your girl. We're gonna rape this. We'll rape that. Like they were going in on that skit, and just shows you just how much animosity they had towards Diddy and Bad Boy at that time, and how how he gave him a raw deal and took advantage of them. So, but I'm glad they kind of squashed it a little bit and kind of moved on. And I'm glad that they kind of like their career kind of was able to move forward, and it wasn't like the end of their career leaving Bad Boy. So that was dope to see.
Hell no, it wasn't the end of the career. It was only the beginning of their career. Yeah, that Bad Boy run, they got a lot of good out of it. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, this We Are the Streets from this point on, yo, they were on fire for like a good 5, 6 years from this album to their solo projects, all the other Rough Rider compilation albums, the features. Yo, they were all three of them were killing it.
Yeah, because a lot of Bad Boy artists, once they left Bad Boy, you never heard from them again. And they were like, I think pretty much the only crew that once they left Bad Boy still had a career. I'm trying to think if there's any crew or any artist that did this thing. Even Mace couldn't even really branch off. He tried to go with G-Unit and 50 Cent, but that didn't work out. But I can't recall anybody who really left Bad Boy and had a successful career after.
Yeah, they're the main ones who had an even better run than they ever did, even on Bad Boy. But bro, there were so many bangers on this album, like the We Are the Streets track, the If You Know Like We Know one, the one with Eve and Swiss Beats. If you know like we know, like they know, Rough Riders is the best. That shit. Breathe Easy, fucking Blood Pressure, Fuck You.
Yeah, fuck
The
you.
skit for Fuck You is mad funny too, where like everybody's talking shit about them saying, fuck the L.O.X. The L.O.X. suck. The L.O.X. can suck my dick. If I see them, it's gonna be a fucking problem. Yo, that skit was mad funny. I think Tracy Morgan was
Yeah.
on it. I think Tracy Morgan was like one of the people talking shit.
No, that's another thing that made this album so great was the skits. And I probably said this before in other podcasts that this is something that has missed from a lot of albums to this day. Like the skits kind of helped segue the songs. They kind of helped you like kind of paint the picture of what the song was about and kind of put you in that vibe or in a setting of kind of like when they made that song, or what kind of environment you listen to that song to. So that's what I kind of miss about those skits. They kind of like piece the album together. So and it'll make you turn into a movie, I would say. So I kind of miss those skits that definitely helped this album. And there's a lot of other joints on here as well. They had Ride or Die Chick with Eve on the chorus, which was pretty dope, produced by Timbaland. That was a dope track. That was one of the big singles off this album. Also Wild Out. And then we also had what was the Recognize, which was produced by DJ Premier, which was probably one of my favorite tracks. It had that Eve sample with the Recognize, and it was a dope DJ Premier produced track. So I definitely fuck with that song. And this whole album bangs though, from top to bottom. There's a lot of bangers on this album.
Recognize is fucking amazing, and also Scream L.O.X. There's also Y'all Fucked Up Now. Styles fucking bodies it on that one.
Yeah, he
Styles
went in
kills
on
it on
that.
that one.
Yeah, this whole album, man, they were just all going in on this album, and it's just dope, man. That 24 years later, that is still considered a classic, and you see how their career is projected from after this album dropped. So definitely a great album.
Between all three of them, my favorite albums are this one and Gangster and a Gentleman from Styles.
Yeah, I like those two, and I like it came out with a lot of mixtapes. I like that Jada Kiss, the Champions Here mixtape. That's one of my favorite mixtapes of all time. That one was pretty dope. And then Sheik had
Respect.
Sheik had a good album. He had a solo album too called After Taxes, I believe. That was pretty dope.
He had a couple solo ones, but that was the main one that
Yeah,
stood out. That after
that
Taxi
stood out.
shit, yeah, it was dope.
And then he had that song Good Love too. Yeah, they all did their thing in their own right. So it wasn't like they only did stuff together as a L.O.X that really popped off, but they all individually had their moments within their career. So it's dope that it's one of the best groups of all time, and yeah, they just put together a dope album.
That's the thing about them. They're kind of like Wu-Tang and NWA in the sense where they had a great run together, but when they branched out and did their own shit, they also had success.
Yeah,
And I don't think they would have ever had that success if they stayed with Bad Boy. They would have never had that same success. No
yeah.
way.
So it's kind of a blessing in disguise and a gift and a curse that they left Bad Boy, that they went through. What they went through. They linked up with Big. They got some of his knowledge. They learned some of the industry stuff from Bad Boy and the commercial side of the industry. And then now, they went through with Ruff Ryders and did the streets thing. So I can see why they're so successful. They saw a lot in a short amount of time when they first came on the scene, and it shows that they learned a lot during that time, and that's why they're still around 20, 30 years later.
Yeah, shout out to L.O.X, one of the best groups to ever do it. This album's incredible. If you haven't heard it in a while, go check it out. It still fucking bangs even 24 years later. And I'm surprised that We Are the Streets track hasn't gone viral recently because of the whole Diddy stuff. Because I can see people jamming to that left and right now if it were to get played more.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely check it out. Definitely a timeless classic.
We don't give a fuck about you. We don't give a fuck about you. We don't give a fuck about you. Oh my God. That production also. Shout out to the production on this album from Swiss Beats mainly. Also
Yeah,
Timbaland and DJ Premier. Yeah, the production is a big part of why this album is dope.
yeah, they all came with it on that album.
Yes, yes, they did. And also, let's fast forward to 4 years later, as this weekend marks the 20-year anniversary of Twista's Kamikaze album. And this to date is his most successful album, as it rode off the coattails of the track Slow Jams, which was a huge hit. Also, Overnight Celebrity, which is also huge.
I think
And
Overnight
yeah, this
Celebrity
is
might have
by
been not to cut you off. Overnight Celebrity might have been bigger than Slow Jams. That's how that song was massive.
oh
Overnight Celebrity for
fuck,
like
that's hard. That's hard.
both of those songs were massive tracks at that time,
I
man.
know. I
Both of those
remember.
songs. But Overnight Celebrity, I think was a big. I don't know. I felt like Overnight Celebrity was a big track, man. I don't know. I just remember that song being so humongous, yo.
I lost my fucking mind the first time I heard it. When I first heard that Kanye beat in that sample, I fucking couldn't contain myself.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that was a dope sample, and yeah, that song was that in the video. I remember like Twist was on fire that year, man, when that came out, man.
Yeah, this is by far like his biggest project. And yeah, I got a lot of great reviews when it came out. And actually, as of this weekend, it's double platinum. It officially became double platinum this weekend.
Oh, that's dope, man. Good. Shouts out to Twista, man. Like he was one of the I would say one of the best rappers that rap that fast, that double time flow, and you can actually understand and hear what the hell he was talking about. Because some rappers they did that fast rhyming, but you couldn't understand like what they were saying. Like Bone Thugs, sometimes you couldn't understand because of the way they harmonized. But no, he was definitely could catch every word that he was saying, and I think he holds the Guinness World Record for the fastest rapper, if I'm not mistaken. I think
Yes, he does.
I
That's
want to
right.
say
He
yeah, I want to
does.
say he holds the record for that too. So yeah, Twista definitely doesn't get a lot of love because he hasn't put out a lot of music recently. But in his time, he definitely put on for Chicago and also for the Midwest. Shouts out to his crew that he used to do music with, also Do or Die. They have a couple a couple of songs together that were dope as well. So, but yeah, man, this album I kind of feel bad, man. But there was a song "So Sexy" with R. Kelly. I kind of feel bad bringing that song up because of R. Kelly and all the bullshit that he went through. But that was a big track as well.
It wasn't as big as slow jams and yeah, overnight celebrity, but yeah, I remember it getting a lot of play back then. Regardless of whatever you feel about R. Kelly and what all the shit he did, he still had hit records, and this is one of those hit records he was a part of.
Yeah, damn man, it just sucks now. You got to block out like a whole part of music. Like R. Kelly, man, was a big part of the '90s and 2000s music wise in production, choruses, his own songs. Like he was a legendary artist, and just sucks that kind of wipe away his legacy because of all the bullshit that he did behind the scenes. It just sucks.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people I know actually still listen to his shit. Just for me personally, and this is just me, considering that most of his songs were about sex and about fucking and everything he got in
Yeah,
trouble for and everything he did. It's just I can't listen to those songs considering that it's him without thinking about that shit.
exactly. That's how I feel. Like I know people who still listen to it, and yeah, sometimes you can separate the art from the artist. But at the same time, like all these songs that he's talking about, like you think like he's talking about Aaliyah or any other underage girl. Like,
It seems
man,
like
I've
you're
seen those
ready.
videos. Yeah,
It
like your body's calling. Seems like you're ready. Like, come on, son.
yeah, he's no different than Vince McMahon with those skits that I mentioned earlier. He's basically telling on himself.
Yeah, man. So it just sucks. But anyway, keep it moving. There also was that Hope song that
Yeah.
was on. I was on the Coach Carter soundtrack. I remember as well. I know the original had CeeLo on it, but then they redid it with Faith Evans. With Faith Evans did her thing and killed it. And I saw that song became popular again within the last couple of years. It was all over social media and on TikTok. People were using it as a song to make memes and stuff. But it was definitely some dope songs on this album.
Yeah, I'll be honest, the hopeful version with Faith I liked a lot more. I liked her on the hook a lot more than CeeLo. All due respect to CeeLo, the Faith version, in my opinion, sounded better.
Yeah, it definitely sounded better because I didn't even remember the CeeLo version until I went back to to research about this album because I haven't heard it in a while and I forgot CeeLo did the original. But then yeah, I remember they released it a few months later with Faith.
Yeah, that was the one from Coach Carter because, like, I remember when Coach Carter came out, they released it to promote the movie, and yeah, that song was kind of big actually at the time.
Yeah, it was.
But in addition to that, that song "Sunshine" with Anthony Hamilton was dope.
Oh yeah, that one was good.
Also, that track he had with Memphis Bleak and Freeway, the fucking Rockefeller crew. That track, "Art and Life," that beat's nasty. That beat on that track is nasty.
Yeah, definitely a great album, man. And he also did the Free Khalik remix was on there. He did his thing. That song was pretty big at that time.
Also, "Get Me," the first track, "Killer Saul" was also fire. There was
Yeah,
"Badunk Yeah,
yeah.
"Badunk was a fun track. Snoopin's also a good track.
Oh yeah, that one's good. No, it's a classic album, man. Definitely his best work, I would say. Yeah, so people definitely should respect Twista for everything that he's done and contributed, for the Midwest, for his double time and flow. And yeah, this album was definitely his most commercially successful album.
I listened to it earlier today for the first time in a while, and yo, it's a very well put together project. Great collabs, great production, great performance by Twista. I'm glad to see that he got to have his moment on this album and he got to,
Yeah,
have that success. I love the album cover too. The album cover is mad dope.
yeah, it is, man. Like, yeah, even before that, he was doing his thing. He was on songs here and there, but he was more like an underground artist. And then once he got with Kanye, and Kanye was from Chicago also, and wanted to put him out there as well. And from there, he had a nice run. And I'm glad that he got to get a shine. At least for those few years he was on top. and he got to have his run and go down as one of the greats. So shouts out to Twista.
Yeah, he definitely deserved it. Yeah, Slow Jams was huge. That's like when Kanye like first came out too, and it was like the first like major song Jamie Foxx was on. Yeah, I remember that song
Yeah,
they played nonstop like during 11th grade. Yeah, it was a huge smash hit. That and Yeah from Usher, Lil Jon, and Ludacris were like two of the biggest songs that whole year.
yeah, definitely left a legacy and left a mark.
Definitely did, but from artists who left a mark back then to artists making a mark today, King Khan, break us down some of the new releases we have to look forward to.
Yeah, we got some starting to pick back up now that the new year started, but we finally got that Benny the Butcher Everybody Can't Go album. He's the first artist on Def Jam that Snoop Dogg signed. So this was his major label debut album on Def Jam, and it's pretty solid. He got some nice features. Snoop is on there. You also got the whole Griselda, Conway, West Side Gun, Amari Caesar, and you also have some dope tracks on here as well. Oh, also, I'm sorry, Lil Wayne, I forgot, as well as on here. So it's a dope project, about 12 songs. Hit Boy and Alchemist produced majority of the album, so the beats are pretty dope. So it's a pretty solid album if you want, listen to a pretty dope album, solid album for a major label debut. So definitely check that out. Also, we had Kevin Gates dropped an album as well, and we also had we alluded to it earlier. Meg Thee Stallion dropped her disc, her Nicki Minaj disc called Hiss, and then also Eminem came out with a track as well with a Lyrical Lemonade where he's throwing some jabs at Benzino. So definitely check that out. And then Ice Spice came out with a new joint called "Think You the Shit Fart."
Ugh.
And I'm not lying. That's the name of the fucking track. I can't believe like she's still still making songs like that, and I don't know, people are eating it up. I don't get it, but people are listening to her music. So I just wanted to shout that out. I just thought that was kind of funny, the name of the song, and I don't know. You'll see, check it out for yourself and leave us your thoughts and let us know what you think about the new track.
Yeah, I actually watched the video for that track on Friday, the fart song. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I really,
Yo,
I was left speechless. That's the best way I could put it. I was left speechless.
and she had a song, a bar kind of dissing Lotto also. Like it's just wild. Definitely check it out. It's entertaining to say the least. But yeah, that's all I got though.
Yeah, I gotta listen to this Eminem dissing Benzino shit. I remember he dissed him really hard back in '02 with a song called The Grandfather Rap. Yeah, that's how you fucking diss someone. That is how you diss someone.
But yeah, definitely check it out.
All right, so King Kong, before we get out of here, let people know how they can listen to past episodes of the podcast, as well as how they can follow us on social media.
Yeah, the best way to listen to older episodes of the podcast is to visit shiftingtheculturepodcast.com. There you can tap into all of our previous episodes and you can learn more about myself and Conscious Kurt. And if you're looking to connect with us on social media, you can visit us on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram at Shifting the Culture Podcast, and hit us up with any ideas you have for the show. If you want to be a guest, or if you have any topics that you'd like us to talk about, or if you want to go back and forth with us and challenge the points that we made on the show. So if you have anything that you want to get at us about, definitely hit us up on social media.
Yeah, definitely hit us up, holler at us, let us know what you think. And until next time, for King Kong, this is Conscious Kurt with another edition of the Shifting the Culture podcast. Take care, have a good rest of your weekend. And whether you're an old school head or a new school head, be like Snoop Dogg and 50 Cent, and always respect the culture. Have a good one, guys.
Peace.